What's up, hockey fans? Welcome to another episode of Pod Snipe Celly. My name is Dan Bradley. Alongside me tonight, Joel Fernino. Joel, it has been a minute. How are you doing, my friend?
It really has been many minutes.
It has. We've taken about 3 weeks off. I had some vacation travel. You had some work commitments. So we are finally back. And Cyclones fan already joining us on the show tonight, saying what's up. Appreciate you dropping in, saying hi. Yes, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook tonight. Still no Twitter because
Elon's a piece of shit.
Elon, it is what it is.
I'm in a scorched earth type of mood, so yeah, the filter will really be gone for me today.
Joey missed us. Mark missed us.
But I'm excited.
We got a party in the comment section tonight.
Hey, hell yeah, I'm excited to be back. And hey, I'm about to. You were just on vacation. I'm about to go on vacation.
Yeah, we went pretty opposite directions.
Tell us about going to Yellowstone amongst all the other national parks and all that.
Yeah, so did a roughly a 1 week trip to Glacier and to Yellowstone, and it was a phenomenal trip. Had so much fun. We were hiking through the mountains. We saw a ton of wildlife while we were out there too. The glacier hike, as we were coming back down, there was this bighorn sheep that stopped like on the trail, so we had to wait for like 20 minutes because we didn't want to make it angry, startle it, whatever, have it jump at us. And I mean, they're used to seeing people, whatever, but nobody wants to get knocked off a mountain by a bighorn sheep. That only happens in Red Dead 2. So we just kind of waited there for like 20 minutes, and then after a while it ended up like kind of looking around and found this rock to stand on and just kind of posed on that rock for us. I mean, the thing was like 5 feet from us. We practically could have reached out and touched it if we wanted to. We didn't. We know better. But we saw moose, we saw grizzly bear, black bears. We saw buffalo, lots of buffalo.
Did you make sure to update your Legends of the West satchel?
Oh, I already had that thing maxed out.
Attaboy.
It's the way to do it.
If anyone watching hasn't played Red Dead 2, they're like, what the hell? Did he take a gummy?
Yeah, that's the next game I'm going to go 100% complete on the achievements on.
I thought you did that already.
No, I did with Skyrim. I haven't with Red Dead yet. I'm actually working on Baldur's Gate 3 first, and then going to go back and do.
Well, you told me you 100%ed Red Dead. Huh.
No.
Well, I'm currently replaying it, so I'm right there with it.
I on the gaming computer here.
On my new computer, because I was like, I can max things out and make it look like insane, and that's exactly what I've been doing. It's a different experience, man. Let me tell you.
Not to mention, you can get the mods going there too.
Yeah, I haven't done any, but I might. I just kind of wanted to replay it with the crazy resolution, native 60 frames per second, 4K, which I destroy. So I think it's usually hitting like 90 frames per second, and I'll plug it into my TV too. Like it's been a blast. It made me buy a Steam Deck so I could play it portably. Anywho,
your travel, you're headed to Florida, Orlando, I think you said.
Orlando. Yep, we are. We've done this before, but we're just doing a friend's trip. We're going to be doing drinking around the world at Epcot at Disney, and then also the double park stuff at Universal the next day. The last time we did it, it was a blast. So I'm excited to do it again. Just Airbnb. It's supposed to be humid. It's supposed to maybe rain a little, but luckily the hurricanes and such, which you have been up close and personal with, where you're at. But that's everything happened this week or last week.
It's still into this week. Thankfully, where we're at in Charlotte, we didn't get hit too bad. We had a lot of wind. We had a lot of rain. But thankfully, where we're at is far enough away from any sort of flash flooding zone warning areas. So we were away from all of that and away from the rock slides and whatnot, the landslides, and it's. I mean, Asheville. If you haven't seen the pictures and the videos coming out of Asheville and the surrounding area,
it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty grim.
It's gnarly.
There are still literal hundreds of people unaccounted for because they are still working to get cell service and power and whatnot back up there. They did reopen the interstate today because parts of that had been like washed out. The way in and out was inaccessible. You could get there through the air and that was it.
Right.
So having roads open so that they can get aid in there is going to be huge for rescue and recovery and rebuilding efforts. So Helene really messed the state up a lot, and it's going to be a very, very long recovery. So I'm hoping that you don't have to deal with any of that as you're traveling. And of course, hoping the best for, Mark, I wish that I live near Minnesota. That's where I grew up. I moved in 2020, like in the middle of the pandemic, moved to Ohio. My wife got a job out there. So we went Minnesota to Ohio to now Charlotte. So that was the journey there. But yeah, we're doing all right. In-laws are about 45 minutes away. They're doing all right too. So all our peeps down here are hanging in there and doing okay. But man, North Carolina and Tennessee, parts of Georgia, really going through it with the storm.
Yeah, really. But so that's we'll be over there. Yeah. There's really no easy way to segue from that.
No, there's really not. So we're just going to do a cold transition right out of it, and we're going to jump right into our NHL.
Can you believe it? Let me just stop you right there, though. Can you believe hockey's back already?
We are 1 week away.
Literally, as we went live, I got the notification that the Hawks' fourth or fifth preseason game just went live too. I'm just like,
guess who they're playing?
Are they playing the Wild?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I will admit right now to everybody, I don't usually watch the preseason too much. Last year I did because of Bedard's rookie year. This year I probably should have with all the free agent signings and such. I watched a little of the first game.
It would be nice if it was more accessible, especially to those of us who are out of market.
Well, so
they have been airing the games on the websites, but only if you're in the TV market.
So, and part of that too is actually NBC Sports Chicago, the network that carried the Hawks and the White Sox, Bulls, and Bears a little bit too, just shut down. It's been, I know, right? We are so back. It's been a thing here for a while. We were like, well, what are we going to get now? We have a dedicated channel. I remember sending it to you in HP. It's called CHSN, just Chicago Sports Network. They've been working on getting on pretty much every, cable platform you can think of. Mine, I think I should be getting it soon. YouTube TV, it sounds like might be getting it soon. Xfinity, of course, has it and all that stuff. So 62.2 and 62.3 on the old rabbit ears.
Yeah, I still do the
what does that mean? What does that mean? Oh yeah, no, I no. No, I do not do that. I get DirecTV Stream free through my HOA and my condo, so DirecTV Stream sucks, but comes with the package, so it's fine. So yeah, we've been waiting. So we can't really watch the preseason. Regular season, it should be up in time though, so I'm ready to go, man. Kind of excited.
Let's get into oh boy, and now Cosgrove saying just checked ESPN Plus Wild game blacked out in Minnesota. Who else is watching preseason games other than locals? Yeah, the absurdity,
make it make sense, Dan. Make it make sense.
How many other leagues are this bad at getting their product in front of viewers?
The MLB.
Yeah, they're up there.
They're pretty bad.
The NHL is worse.
Are they?
Yes.
I get it. No, hold on. I get it. You're jaded because yes, the Minnesota market is awful because of Bally.
Yeah, it's not regional sports networks.
So
especially Bally.
I can understand you being jaded. It really does depend though. Outside of the whole Bally situation, usually hockey's not that bad. Now, to be fair, here Rocky, the old owner, made it a damn point and the mission in his life when he took over to make sure that people in Chicago could watch the Hawks. That has held true. So we've had it nice. Yeah, we've had it nice.
Yeah.
So I can understand. So I think it's a little bit, it's niche. It depends
The
on where
problem
you're
for Minnesota is we get both. So both the Twins and the Wild and the Timberwolves too as well are all, most of their games are on Bally.
Well, and so same thing with this new CH.
It's just a carryover and a continuation.
Yeah.
So
yep.
And Cyclones fan checking in as well. MLS is surpassing them. All the games available in one spot with 0 blackouts. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And Cosgrove saying, did Dallas make their own app for the local sports teams? Yeah, that's really probably the direction that the industry is headed, is having those local programs. And honestly, like, okay, give me a Wild stream that works consistently, and I know, okay, $100 for the season, and I've got every game home and away feed, no blackout. 100% I would sign up for that.
The Cubs, they've been doing it for the past couple of years with Marquee Network. It's their network, but it's across everything. But it's one of the only places you can really watch them, unless they're national.
Genuinely forgot about this one. Paulette, who tried to create Victory Sports, and it failed in like 6 months. Yeah, it was meteoric and didn't even rise. It was just straight down to earth. Very little flash on that one. I mean, it was quick, but also, I mean, as the Twins proved this year, notoriously cheap Polads. I can't imagine they pumped too many resources into it, and I would bet somebody trying now would have a much better shot at pulling that off and making it successful.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that neither of our teams are going to win the Stanley Cup in this season preview, so it's okay.
Are you sure? Twitter had me believing both of our teams would win the Stanley Cup this year based on some of the fan reactions.
Yeah, Twitter
it's
also
upper bust in Minnesota, and 15 million dead cat be damned.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, Twitter also will have me believe that the Bears should have kept Justin Fields. So yeah, Twitter is Twitter.
Well, let's get into things with our Eastern Conference here. We did our Eastern and Western Conference specific preview shows, but Joel, you and I both had the same matchup for our Eastern Conference Finals.
We're going blind then. You've seen mine. I haven't seen yours.
You haven't. So this is going to be somewhat new for you on the fly here, because I just had to make the banners and go with how we put this together for the show tonight. We both have the Devils and the Panthers, and we are both taking the New Jersey Devils as your representative of the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals. Joel,
absolutely,
give me your take on both of these teams. Some pretty big off seasons for both clubs. Why did you decide on Devils and Panthers as your two?
Panthers, right off the bat, yeah, I know, I get it. They just won the cup, but the thing is what did they do to regress, at least on paper?
Well, I mean, they had a pretty big shakeup this offseason. Bringing in Adam Boquist on the blue line is kind of their big addition, because he had to replace Brandon Montour and Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Right.
So some big names on the back end there. But other than that, they didn't have a ton of room to make too many other moves along the way there.
Exactly. So decent chunk on the back end there, but really Ekman-Larsson, you replace an offensive defenseman with a shorter, faster offensive defenseman in Boquist. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is there. You kind of, and Adam Boquist, much younger than Ekman-Larsson. So
I'm intrigued to see how they're going to use Boquist in that system, because I feel like I
trust that system and that coaching. That's the thing.
His usage in Columbus wasn't great, but there was so much turmoil in Columbus from an on ice perspective over the last couple seasons, and with his development, I think it's almost a bit of a reset in a way that he's going to kind of get a fresh start and really.
I think it's going to be
find his footing in a new system.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for him. But that's just that. Like outside of that, which it's a decent switch up, but it to me, like, you're not getting rid of your big stars. Everyone, most of the main core That
Right.
one
Outside
unit
of
up
Montour,
is
yeah.
outside of Montour, most of the main core is there. And that's kind of where I'm like, okay, I don't see Florida getting, I guess there's just the vibes of like what teams get the hangover versus others. To me, teams like Colorado were prone to getting the hangover. Teams like Vegas were a little prone to getting the hangover. Florida to
2 seconds here.
Go ahead.
Victory Sports launched on Halloween 2003 and closed down May 8th, 2004.
4 days
yeah,
after my birthday.
It was a mess. How quick that crashed and burned.
Yeah. But so my thing is just I can see them absolutely making it right back into the mix here. They're still deep enough. They're still skilled enough. I don't think they're going to be too tired, really. It's really only been the last 2 years they've really gone truly super deep.
I mean, yeah, Cup finals back-to-back years. You can't get much deeper than that.
Exactly. So I don't think it's going to wear them out too much, but I also don't have them making it back to a third Cup final in a row, which in hindsight would be kind of funny. Like we just had a team from Florida make 3 back-to-back Stanley Cups. And then we have the other team from Florida make
back-to-back 5 years because the Lightning had it 3 in a row and then 2 in a row with Florida.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying we had the other team from Florida make 3 in a row,
Okay.
winning 2 of 3. And then we have
I'm with you now.
Potentially the Panthers making the other team from Florida making it 3 years in a row, winning 1 of 2 so far. But I want to switch over to the Devils because
before you do that, I want to
go ahead.
Point out here we had a couple of comments here about the Leafs. Cosgrove thinks they go on a run and re-sign Marner for bundles. I could see that. Joey's saying Leafs to Leafs. So I'll ask you, Joel. Let's start with, do the Maple Leafs win a playoff series? Because they would then presumably have to lose to the Panthers to get through to the cup or to the conference final. And you don't have them there. So do they win a playoff series? And are they, if so, I mean, they're one and done. Who are they losing to?
It's so funny. It's usually like we don't necessarily have the fallback on the they don't win a playoff series because they did finally get over the hump.
Right.
So I do think that hunger is there because they know they've done it. New coach too. Obviously, we talked about that in our Eastern Conference preview show. And a Stanley Cup winning coach at that. So I think to me that is enough to get them over the first round hump again. So yeah, I think they can win a series.
So based on where you had the Atlantic Division shaping up, they would play the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. So you have them beating the Lightning in the first round, losing to the Panthers in the second.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. If they end up playing them, oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. Yeah, they don't dethrone the ex-champs, but I could see them knocking off the now old Florida team that continuously makes the playoffs.
It took 18 and a half minutes, and we got our chirp from Sam about you wearing the backwards hat.
And Joel with a backwards hat. I mean, I am a distinguished professional. Distinguished professionals can wear backwards hats and have tattoos. Wow, I didn't know you were that buttoned up, Sam. Do you wear a suit to bed too?
How I Met Your Mother with the suit pajamas.
I was going to say I actually made that joke because I had a roommate who wore a suit to bed.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I not joking, not exaggerating. He legit slept in a suit a couple times.
And then, Joel, let's talk Devils here and what the Devils are going to do. The big addition there, of course, is goaltender Jacob Markstrom. That is a huge get for that team. And then it's the youth movement after that, especially on the blue line. Walk me through your confidence in the Devils this year.
That you literally just said it. Total sidetrack. I can't sleep naked. It feels weird. I don't like it. Anyway, it just feels odd. It's not comfy either. Anybody who's ever defended it, like, oh yeah, it's great. And no, you're just a psychopath. Anyway, Dan didn't even answer. I think Dan sleeps naked. Anyway.
I don't.
Yep,
I don't.
yep,
and
yep.
won't.
Yep. Don't lie to me. All right.
This guy. Talk about the Devils. Move on.
You said it, and that is my confidence. We say we make our predictions basing everything on health. A healthy Devils team last year would have made the Eastern Conference Finals. I will die on that hill right now. We don't know. It already passed. I don't care. A healthy Devils team last year, Jack Hughes not getting injured, was on track to win the Hart.
Hands down.
Which I picked last year, and I was off to a real good start until he got hurt. A healthy Devils team with the youth movement, and hell, youth now, like that youth is starting to get into some of their prime now, and they've shown what they can do. A healthy Devils team can absolutely make the Eastern Conference Finals. And then you add in the one major wild card that both of us kept saying needed to happen last year. It didn't. It happened this offseason instead, and that is Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, running the tandem of Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen compared to Mackenzie Blackwood.
You go from just a guy to having a solid veteran backup in Jake Allen, but to I would say, top 3 Vezina contender this year.
For this upcoming season?
For this upcoming season.
He should be
and I'd argue top 5 to 8 Vezina contender the last couple seasons behind defense. And now he's behind a fantastic defense.
Fantastic, but young. I think there's
That's
still
fine.
going to be
That's the point.
Couple hiccups here, but you are looking at having possibly Simone Nemetz in there. You are possibly having Seamus Casey back there. Of course, Luke Hughes, one of the Calder finalists last year,
right,
is going to get a bigger role with the team this year. There's a lot of there's a lot of talent within that group, but it's a very young group.
It is, and to me, for a young group, you want an all-star goalie back there to back up those inevitable younger mistakes that you're gonna make as you learn. But I think that gives a younger defenseman more confidence that you have that big brick wall back there that can stop any mistake that you might cause. You don't have to feel bad about it. Might not cost a goal, and if it does, it's not going to be as many. So I think it's that combo alone, that 1-2 punch to me is enough to get them over the hump as long as they stay healthy.
You can kind of balance it out too with Dougie Hamilton and Jonas Siegenthaler.
Right, exactly.
Like those are 2 solid defensemen.
And again, we mentioned Dougie Hamilton. He's got to stay healthy.
Yes, I mean,
he's not very good at
Hamilton, Meyer, Hughes, Heischer, all those guys. Like that is their biggest question mark by far. And I hate when that is a question mark with a team. That's like either they are going to run away with things or they're going to crash and burn because everybody's hurt. So
can we do a pulse check? Like Boston, how's Boston feeling right now?
I have it queued up for later in the show to do some slam talk here. So
good.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
But Dan, and we need to light the beacon for Mark for the Black and Gold podcast for everybody from Boston to chime in for that segment.
So Dan, we've talked about it. Who wins?
I am going with the New Jersey Devils. I do think they make it through to the Cup final. I think the Markstrom addition puts them over the top of really the rest of the Eastern Conference. I could also, it would not surprise me if it's the Panthers. Again, that's a very top to bottom deep team with 2 good goaltenders. I mean, we saw the run Bobrovsky went on, but to now have Spencer Knight back and he'll be the backup this year, that's going to be huge for Florida, especially if he was out for almost a year dealing with OCD and getting OCD under control to the point where, I mean, he couldn't do hardly anything. People will make jokes about oh, it's my OCD. No, it is bad when you actually have it. Like it's terrible.
God, yeah. Oh yeah.
So he took some time away. He was in the AHL last year. Got to see him play with the Checkers at one point. That was pretty sweet.
That's good.
But he'll be at the NHL ranks this year. Pretty darn good goaltending tandem. I could see them carrying it. I could see the Leafs potentially making a run here. You know, it's getting to the point with the Leafs of at some point you just have to throw it in and say it doesn't work. We got to blow it up and start over. They are nearing that line of.
So it's funny too because it's like I'll never learn every season when I discount the Bruins. I'll never learn every season when I say, okay, well, if this season doesn't work out for the Leafs, they're going to blow it up. I've said that the last 3 seasons, and it hasn't happened.
They've gone through how many GMs? They've gone through how many coaches? At some point, it has to fall on the players. Because if it keeps changing regime over regime, but the bulk of the players are still the same, at some point, you got to change the core.
Exactly.
But we are nearing that point for the Leafs.
We are in full head of steam agreement here on the Eastern Conference Final predictions because I, too, am picking the New Jersey Devils to represent the East in the Stanley Cup Final.
If we get 7 games of Devils-Panthers, that's going to be perfect.
Stop it. Oh.
Well, excited there, didn't I?
Oh, my God. That's like the perfect – those are the 2 perfect packages of great offense and great defense meshed into one and just the irresistible force and the immovable object type of situation there.
Koskero Baskin hasn't been Shanahan and co calling the shots the whole time. I mean, to a degree, but at the same time, you've had different coaches come and go. Different situations on who you're bringing in and who you're trying to really make as your focal points, but the core has ultimately been the same. Something's got to give.
We have a preseason goal, Dan.
We do?
We do. Jason Dickinson, Apples, Seth Jones, and Nick Foligno.
All right.
Wait a minute. We haven't been on. New Chicago Blackhawks captain, Nick Foligno.
There you go. Yeah, I guess we haven't mentioned that.
We have not been on since that got announced. Yeah. My boys got a new captain, and they made the right move, by the way.
I threw something out on Twitter about it, but we didn't get to mention it here. So,
no.
Right call, though.
Oh, absolutely. Let Bedard just worry about developing. Give him the C when Foligno retires.
You know what? Let's segue into Western Conference predictions here.
That was a good Western Conference segue, was it not?
Keep things moving right along. Joel, in your Western Conference Finals, your matchup was the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. I'm going with the Nashville Predators and the Edmonton Oilers.
Do you know we were almost in lockstep? I was this close to picking Nashville.
Because I'm guessing you had Predators and Avalanche as your second round matchup. Based on how you had
based on how it would go. Exactly. And it's one of those where give me one more year. For me, just give Nashville one more year. Now, don't get me wrong, what they added, that's huge. That is on paper, I would argue the most improved team, not just in the West, but in the entire league.
Certainly a strong case to be made for them as most improved. You bring in Steven Stamkos, you bring in Brady Shea, you bring in Jonathan Marchessault.
It's a lot of Stanley Cup pedigree there.
And to a team that, I mean, you look at where they were at last year, you have a little bit of a down year for Saros by his standards. Still had a .906 save percentage. Still had a 2.8 something goals against average. So bad for his numbers.
That Brady Shea falls under the radar just in comparison. But that's such a good move.
And that was still a 99-point team the last season that is now bringing in all of that firepower. They were a playoff team last year. This is the move that when Barry Trotz came in and took over as GM, it said, we are going to go all out in pursuit of the cup.
And he said
he took a big swing here.
He said, too, we're going to turn this around quick. I remember it wasn't exactly this quote, but it was kind of like preaching patience his first year. Like they had a higher draft pick that his first official draft. I forget exactly where they picked. 10th, 11th.
That would have been what, 2022?
The year we picked Bedard. What was that?
So it would have been 23.
Yeah. Forget where they were at.
Give me a moment here. I had 2022 up because I thought that was.
No, yeah, I thought Trotz.
23, they took 15th, and they took Matthew Wood.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So top 15, literally top 15. So, but I remember him saying, like, just preaching a little bit of patience. Not that they were going to be basically, in a rebuilding stage that year, but more of a like just bear with us. Like we'll see what happens this year type of thing. And then, like you said, after that, he was like, we're going to get this turned around quick, and it's looking that way based on last season, and now based on these, like you said, these swings this offseason. And anybody else for Nashville saying that, like over the last few years, it was kind of just like eye roll, whatever. Sure, you will. Mm-hmm. When it's Barry Trotz saying it, you listen and you agree.
Give me a bit more on the Colorado Avalanche, because I have some reservations about this team.
I understand, and I think it's kind of just to me, it's just that pedigree thing. Like last year, they were kind of an afterthought, not necessarily healthy the whole year, but also just kind of there. I saw something about it was training camp or whatever it was. That Nathan MacKinnon he looks even better, if that was even possible. At least in his off-season training that I forgot what they were. I forgot what it was. I think it was like preseason training camp, whatever it was. It was very recent. I saw that, and it's just kind of one of those things of they are still the Avalanche. They still have that insane core. They still have the perennial Norris Trophy candidate in Cale Makar, Nathan MacKinnon, the perennial and defending Hart Trophy winner. It's kind of one of those, like, you know what? They were an afterthought last year. Mm-hmm. They had the hangover year the year before, where they were still formidable, but it was the hangover. Last year, they were kind of an afterthought, and I think this year is one of those, like, hey, they forgot about us, and let's show that you shouldn't forget about us.
The concerns I have with Colorado, number one, Valeri Nichushkin. In the player assistance program, suspended without pay. He very well may have played his last game in Colorado. I should say suspended through at least November without pay, and that's when he can apply for reinstatement. Also, you have Gabriel Landeskog on injured reserve. And
he lives there. I mean,
when both of those players, if both of those players should come back, the Avs don't have the cap space to pull it off. Like they genuinely do not have the room to get those guys on roster. So I don't know how they're going to field 20 players, and certainly not carry 23 at a time, how they're going to be able to pull that off. Their goaltending situation as well, Georgiev and Annunen, not super keen on those guys. I look at the goaltending that you have throughout the rest of the Central Division. I think it's fair to say they're a bottom half tandem compared to the rest of the division. Again, the rest of the team, like the high-end star power, absolutely there. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's enough. That is why I went with Nashville, because they went out and got that star power to really put them over the top, to complement Philip Forsberg as well, to complement Roman Josi, guys who have been, upper echelon players in this league, but haven't necessarily had a supporting star player that can help carry that load so that they are always the one that has to be the one making the play. And then the Oilers, of course, I mean, you can't get much more high-end star power than the Oilers as well.
So,
but I do think if we're comparing Oilers and Avalanche rosters, I mean, the Oilers to me, top to bottom, that's the better roster.
oh, hands down. And I think that can get right to the. I mean, we can segue to why we both have the Oilers making it back to the Western Conference Final, but I'll already tell you that I have the Oilers making it back to the Stanley Cup Final. I'm going.
One of us.
Wow! Hold on, we'll unpack that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
The Oilers, to me, I am going to the well one last time. I did it last year. Hell, I did it 2 years ago. I don't think I had them in the Cup final 2 years ago, but I had them making the conference final 2 years ago, and they were close.
You had them pretty far into things. I also don't remember. But I do know last year you had them as your Cup pick.
Well, last year I had a perfect playoff bracket heading into the finals, heading into Game 7. I had called every single series, and something in my mind was like, I don't know if the Oilers can do it. And then when they went down 3-1, I'm like, well, there goes that, but I got to ride with it. And my God, it almost happened.
They were 2 goals away.
An
equalizer and a winner.
And a couple reasons. I'm saying I'm going back to the well one final time. I'm not going to jump off the train just because of what happened last year. You saw Connor McDavid become the first player since, I think it was, 92? Or whatever it was. I forgot who was it? The last player to win the Conn Smythe on the losing team.
03 Jaguar.
03 Jaguar, that's it. I was 10 years.
Ask me how I know about JS Jaguar.
Because you were obsessed with him in NHL 14?
Because he shut the Wild out 3 of the 4 playoff games.
Okay, there you go. So yes, that alone, it just showed, and it's not even just last year. It was 2 years ago when he carried them to the conference finals on his back and had a solid chance to make it, but ran into the Avalanche that were a juggernaut. I get it. And then last year, carrying them to the Stanley Cup final on a one-legged Leon Draisaitl as well, by the way. So again, health being a factor here. If everyone's healthy, I don't see why they can't get right back there. They make a couple moves at the trade deadline, and here's the other thing, and none of us like it. And I hate to admit it, but adding Stan Bowman is going to help them because he may not be good for long. I know.
I don't know about that.
It's a very controversial take, but here's the thing.
For you who has said...
I'm getting to it. To it.
Oh, boy. I got to hear this because to me, this is
when it comes
mental gymnastics coming
No, it's not. When it comes to Stan Bowman being your GM long-term, they're screwed. That's why I said I'm going to the well one final time. If they don't get it done this year, it's over because he's going to start making stupid moves that not only mortgage their future, but overpay players where they can't sign anybody else. Want to know how I know that? First-hand experience.
That I do know how you have come up with that one.
So here's my point. The other first-hand experience I do have is, yes, while he didn't have anything to do with building the core that the Blackhawks had during the dynasty decade that we had, he didn't do anything to build that core. However, I will give credit where credit is due. I don't care who you are. He did put pieces around them to support them. A core can potentially get you to a Stanley Cup, but we've seen it can't always win you a Stanley Cup. You got to put the pieces around. And in the short term, he did do that. He made very good moves at the trade deadline to get us second-line centers 2 of those 3 years in Michael Handzus in 13 and then bringing Antoine Vermette in 2015. Huge moves.
We have a score update.
From
the Wild Blackhawks game. We have a goal from Freddie Gaudreau. Freddie Gaudreau sighting. It is a 1-1 hockey game.
All right.
Carry on.
Apples.
Give me a moment. I just saw the text from HP about the goal.
Okay. Oh, I think I did too. Yes, I did.
Assist to Jacob Lauko.
Bless you.
You know Jacob Lauko.
No, I do not.
Traded from Boston.
Oh, there you go. Chime in,
For the
Bostonians.
Vinny Lettieri trade.
Okay. But that's my point. Short term. Freddie G ties it up. So short term, and I mean real short term.
Mm-hmm.
Stan Bowman does know how to make some moves. Nothing like that's this crazy splash or anything. He's not going to go and trade for Mitch Marner or anything like that. Like it's not going to be anything crazy. But he does know how to make moves in the short term to at least ensure and mortgage whatever the hell he has to win you a cup. That's why I say, and it kills me to say, that it does kind of help, at least for this year. Beyond this year, I hate it. And I think they might be screwed beyond this year. But for this year alone, putting this year inside a bubble, having Stan Bowman should help them.
Let's see. D-Man really messed up. Lauko puts it on net. The puck pops up like 7 feet in the air. Chicago defenseman gloves it down, puts it right in the crease behind the goalie.
Ooh. Give me numbers here.
You're gonna have to watch the highlight and figure out what D-Man that was.
Yeah. If it's any of the younger ones, that's fine. If it's Seth Jones or
what worries me is that your defensemen playing tonight include Jones, Korchinski, Murphy, and Vlasic. So there's about a 2/3 chance it's one of those guys.
Something tells
Maybe
me
a little more.
It was probably Murphy.
See that. I'm with you on the Oilers. The Victor Arvidsson edition is really intriguing to me, especially if he's going to be on Draisaitl's wing this year. Also, Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, that's one of those all right.
Yeah, they're like, well, let's try it on the cheap and see what works.
That's literally a team that's already, in terms of being that's a team that's a billionaire when it comes to scoring goals. The rich just got richer when it comes to scoring goals when you sign Jeff Skinner. It's just like, hey, you know how we are really good at scoring goals? Well, let's just break the ceiling and just score more goals.
Doing my best Chris Collinsworth impression. Here's a guy.
He's a
consistent 30-goal scorer, but also he will go 20 games without a goal and then have 15 goals in 18 games after that. He's so streaky.
The fun thing is, though, he's also that type of player. There's always that one player in the playoffs that is just where the hell is this coming from? This guy's going to get paid now because he had an all-star playoffs. He's one that could do that.
Yeah, I some really interesting additions there. They did lose Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg to offer sheets, which is just so funny to me.
Yeah. Like I said, long term, Stan Bowman doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
That Podkolzin move, though, that might be a really sneaky move for Edmonton here. That's a good depth addition.
And the thing is now goaltending, as always.
Which Stuart Skinner are you going to get?
Exactly.
That's really what it's going to the once again.
The other
73.
That's Vlasic, I think.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's all right. It's preseason. That's okay.
Vlasic is 72.
Oh,
so it could have been 72. I'm checking the rest of the numbers. Phillips is 41.
Let me check the score and see. As long as it wasn't on a power play, then let me see the minus, the plus minus. Most overrated category ever.
Crevier 46. So yeah, so maybe 72. So then it would have been Vlasic.
That would have been Vlasic, but let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, good job, NHL app. You don't give plus minus in the box score.
Vlasic is a +1. The -1s are Korchinski and Murphy. So,
well, he said the only defenseman that has a 7 in their number is Vlasic, so that's okay.
Not sure. I guess we'll have to watch the highlight and figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Drew Comesso's playing. Let's go.
Yeah, it's preseason. Give him a look.
Hell yeah.
Joel, the time has come. Stanley Cup predictions. You have the Devils and the Oilers I have the Devils and the Predators. And I think the really fascinating thing here is that neither of us took the Devils. You took the Oilers, and I took the Preds.
That's amazing. I want to hear your explanation on the I mean, you've given all your explanation on the Preds, but like your final kind of bow on it. For me, I kind of gave it already. I said I'm going to the well one final time with the Oilers. This is the year to do it. If they don't do it, I think that doubt can start to set in. I didn't play. I'm not going to say that. They're professionals. They know how to handle it. But just one more final thing that I have seen and witnessed, that pain of a team that really doesn't change that much, so to speak, from one playoff or from one season to another, that heartbreak of losing a game 7, and this is the Stanley Cup final. In 2014, when the Hawks lost game 7 in overtime to the Kings, a year they absolutely would have won the cup had they won that game because they would have wiped the floor with that New York Rangers team that year, just like the Kings did in 5 games. Speaking of which, we now have that Stanley Cup year's Stanley Cup clinching goal scorer is now a Blackhawk, Alec Martinez. That's kind of weird. So I just think they're going to be hungrier than ever, especially McDavid. Draisaitl being healthy is also probably just is hungrier than ever after, having to watch and have that feeling of you were 2 goals away and you didn't change too much coming into this offseason. There is no excuse. You absolutely can make it back, and this time you can actually come out on top.
Seeing the preview of the Hard Knocks knockoff that they're doing,
I want to watch that.
It looks good, man.
Yeah, that's really right.
Good. Amazon Prime.
I'm glad you mentioned that trailer because that was part of it. Like you see the anger in McDavid in that little snippet. And
like there's being mad about what's happening, and then there's being like to your very core, like you see it, you feel it. Like there was something different.
And the thing is like he is a leader. But if anyone on any team was warranted in bitching out their teammates, it's him.
Mm-hmm.
And it said it at the end. He won the playoff MVP on a losing team.
Yeah.
He
deserved to be.
He set the playoff record for points.
Yeah. You break a Gretzky record, you should be getting some sort of award.
Exactly. You break a record, one of Gretzky's record, one of the hundreds that there are. Obviously, exaggerating that number.
We got a question for you from Mark here.
Joel, do you happen to remember Judd Surratt? Oh, my God. That name sounds very familiar. Yes.
That name does not sound very familiar to me, so I'm going to need you to.
So he was. I'm trying to remember exactly. Let me see. So he. Oh yeah. So I know he's an announcer. And it looks like right now he's an announcer for I don't know what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he's with Boston, so he'll be. He will be the new play-by-play announcer taking over for Jack Edwards. He was previously with the Chicago Wolves.
There you go. So that's, yeah. And I think he actually was with the Hawks for a very brief moment too. He did work for the Cubs. That's right. That
too. So you could have heard him on WGN radio.
Yeah, and he previously appeared on WGN broadcast for the Hawks. Exactly. Yeah, Judd Surratt. Duh, that's right.
Okay,
wow, that's awesome. You're gonna like. I do remember him. He's pretty cool. I like him. Oh yeah, because he would do it with I forgot his partner. Yeah, but yeah, no, you'll like him. He's good. But yeah, I want to hear this Predators thing. Big George. By the way, we didn't add the Vegas aspect into all of this.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't do the odds.
I got you. I got them up. Okay. I got them up. So, favorites to win the Stanley Cup. The Oilers are number 1. I'm getting a monologue. Let's go. So the Oilers are, at least on per FanDuel, the Oilers are your favorite to win the cup at plus 850. Florida being second at plus 1,000. New Jersey and Colorado and Dallas all tied for third at plus 1,100.
Yeah, Nashville plus 1,600.
Nashville
I had similar odds on the Dallas Stars at this time last year. To me, it's both a value bet, but also I think people are overlooking how good this Nashville team is and how much better they got.
And I agree with you. You had your reservations with the Colorado thing making it to the conference final. My reservation with Nashville, while they did get incredibly better and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, like they're taking the Central. There is no doubt about that. They are taking the Central. It'll be a battle with Dallas, but I think with Pavelski retiring and just some of their core getting a little older, I think Nashville's time to strike is now. So I think they can win the Central. But
we're going to do a little explanation here because being someone who works doing sports betting writing,
go ahead.
How is the favorite plus 800? That seems kind of nuts. Well, a couple of factors at play here. One is it's still the preseason, so there hasn't been a ton of betting action on any of the teams really so far. There's been a few futures bets, but people tend to kind of wait until about a month or so into the NHL season before you really start to see those lines change dramatically. A favorite for the Stanley Cup will still be pretty good plus money well into the start of the playoffs even. I think at the start of the playoffs last year, Florida, if I remember correctly, was still right around like plus 300-ish at the start of the Cup, or at the start of the playoffs. They were up there. The Oilers were around plus 350, plus 400, I'm pretty sure. So it really, it's dependent on how much betting action the sports books are seeing, and it's dependent on how their algorithms predict that the teams are going to play out here. So I do think, plus 800 for a favorite at the start of the season is
honestly kind of tempting to just do that right now.
Yeah, if you think the Oilers are winning and you're getting plus 850 on them, by all means, make that move.
Toss toss $10 on it. You forget about that $10 and you could potentially win 100 or 850 at the end of the year.
For some perspective, there are 3 NBA teams that all have odds better than plus 800 to be their championship winner. But again, there's a lot more NBA betting in the US than there is NHL betting. So they've seen a lot of that betting action early on.
I don't usually do futures. That's a little tempting.
The favorite is Boston at plus 320.
Oh,
so just some perspective there. And then the next 2 teams, Oklahoma City at plus 700 and the Knicks at plus 750. So it's not too out of the question for it to be that. That is high for the start of the season.
Here's your other thing too for Vegas. Here's your other thing too for odds for our we did our conference finals and our conference winners. The Eastern Conference. So Florida obviously is the favorite at plus 500, and New Jersey is right on their tail at plus 550. And then if you were wondering, the Rangers are behind them at plus 600, Toronto plus 700. And then for the West, here's the only other thing that kind of helps my Avalanche perspective. Edmonton at plus 390 to win the West. Makes sense. And then right behind them are Colorado at plus 500.
The Avs get a ton of betting action. They have the last few years.
Yeah.
Just people aren't going to go against McKinnon and McCarr.
Here's the thing, though. If you're allowed to parlay it, I don't know if you are, you can parlay the Preds to win the West at plus 750 with them to win the Cup at, what did I say, plus 1,600?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're allowed to parlay it. Let me find out.
If you can, a $10 wager, you said it was plus 750 and plus 1,600. You
can't parlay it.
I was going to say
I assumed.
Yeah. If you could, a $10 bet would win you $14.35.
Woo! Yeah, exactly.
That's part of why they don't want you to do that.
But no, I mean, oh, whoops. Well, I put up the wrong banner. My bad.
Oh shoot, which one did you just put up?
Where we're going next.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and put that banner up for a moment. And Joel, what can you tell me about this banner?
What can I tell you?
The banner itself, not necessarily the picks. Does it look familiar?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you copy and pasted this from last year.
This is literally the exact same.
This is exactly what we did last year.
Picks this year.
I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, again, my whole theme of going back to the well one more year with the Oilers for the Cup, doing the exact same thing with Jack Hughes, because until he got hurt last year, a month or so into the season, I was very much winning that bet.
It was really looking good for Hughes. For me, we were just talking about the odds for some of these as well. The odds for the Hart Trophy right now, McDavid is the favorite. This has even gone down from this morning when I looked. Mm-hmm. He is plus 150 to win the Hart. The next closest player is McKinnon at plus 500. Jack Hughes is plus 1,100. Ooh. So, to Cosgrove's point about favorites and early in the year, that goes to show how much betting action there is on McDavid to win the Hart this year.
I mean, McDavid's the reason that even though I didn't choose him in this, I probably wouldn't bet against him at the same point. It's right. Plus 150 isn't even fun. I'm pretty sure.
It's still.
I think plus 150 was a money line for the Bears against the Texans 2 weeks ago.
So we ended up with the same ones here. A lot of the same talking points as last year. Good team, good opportunity, good players.
Yeah, we'll flow through these awards because we've kind of explained a lot of it. But yeah.
All right. Next up is the Norris Trophy.
Wow. You know what? It's funny. I actually thought about that. I legit was very tempted to pick Bouchard.
Let me run this stat by you. I went and looked this one up earlier today, and I actually had to tabulate it by hand because I couldn't just find this stat and Google it and pull it. There are only 4 times since 2000 where the Norris Trophy winner wasn't top 3 in points. 8 of those years, it was your outright points leader.
And
among defensemen.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Say what you will about defensive ability, and I have ranted on this time and time again on this show. There has to be some degree of defense involved. It can't just be automatically whoever's the top at points. But for it to so consistently be somebody top 3 in that regard, and you look at the team performance as well, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to vote for Bouchard on that one.
I agree, and I'll always agree with you that at this point, split the damn award up. I don't know, keep this one the Norris, and I don't know, call the defensive defenseman one, I don't know, the Cronwall. Not Cronwall, my bad.
The Lidstrom.
Lidstrom, thank you. Yeah. My brain's
you could do that. You could create an offensive one that is the Bobby Orr or the Ray Bork.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, and that's so I'm glad you mentioned the whole, 8 out of the last 10 years or 8 out of the last 10 winners, whatever. I'm not going to lie to you. That's kind of why I picked Adam Fox. I didn't go Cale Makar just because I didn't want to go chalk. And I think I don't necessarily think he'll win it. Again, he'll be a favorite. Again, he'll probably be top 3. But I think I could just see Adam Fox just getting the most points. And don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a perennial Calder contender. I mean, Norris contender. So it's not like I'm just kind of saying whatever. I just can see him going off in a point season and just taking it. I think he's due.
Yeah, it could go either way. I think just based on where you had the Rangers in the standings, it didn't make a ton of sense to me to have them there. That one did surprise me a little bit to see that you had them that high. That you had Fox that high with the Rangers. I think you had them 3rd.
Oh, yeah, because I had him behind Toronto, who is the
Right.
just, the regular season juggernaut that they usually try to be. And then what did I have? The Panthers winning it?
Yeah,
No,
let's take the division.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I could still see just because that offense is so potent. But I could see the Rangers losing a lot more of those games despite scoring a lot of points. That's the thing. I remember seeing Pete Rose a few times at the Mirage Sports.
Because we're mentioning seeing Pete Rose at the Mirage Sportsbook.
Rest in peace, Pete Rose, and rest in peace, the Mirage. And I love the Mirage. That's where every time my mom and I go to Vegas, that's where we would stay. Now we can't. I like your Bouchard pick, though. I almost picked Bouchard.
I mean, Fox is also, I feel like.
I closed it. I closed my app, but I know he was. I think.
Well, let me tell you. I wrote down the odds for these guys from what they were earlier today. Fox is plus 600 and Bouchard is plus 750.
Yeah, there you go. And so, plus 600 was good enough for is that third or second best
for Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was up there with he was tied with Hughes and then behind Kill McCarr.
There we go. That's right.
Next one here. Let's do Vezina.
Easy one for me too.
Yeah, and again, kind of matching teams that we have going to the Cup. You went with Markstrom, I went with Saros.
I am the only other extra point I can make here. I know we said we'd go through this. The only extra point I can make for picking Markstrom is this new home, I think, is going to give him new life. And we've already seen what he can do when his battery is draining, and he's going to get new life behind a much better defense. So I don't know. I just see him going off as long as everybody stays healthy.
And finally, the Calder Trophy. Sorry. Unfortunately, Connor Bedard can't win it again this year.
Damn.
So you did have to pick somebody different.
Frank Nazar can, though.
Frank Nazar is not who you picked. You went with.
No, I did not.
Do you want to tell people who you went with, and then I'll pop the graphic up here?
I will. Me first? Yeah.
Yeah.
I went with your boy, Logan Stankoven.
I was going to go Stankoven until I saw you pick him, because then I wanted to talk to somebody different on the show too. So I went with Matvei Michkov. Again, I will be stunned if both of these two aren't finalists. These should be two of your final three. I could see Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith kind of jockeying for that last spot. I wonder if they're going to end up pulling some votes from each other as we go along. Cutter Gauthier could be in the mix as well. It's going to be a fun group of Calder eligible players this year. Yep. But also, and I think we've talked about this before, there are some players in these Calder odds that have no business being in Calder odds.
We talked about it last time too, that they just, I don't know. I don't get why they have
Zeev Buium at plus 5,000. They have Ivan Demidov at plus 5,000. Neither of those guys, I think, is going to be playing NHL this year.
I think man, I'm drawing a blank. It's a long night. I thought I saw him in there. Hold on, I'll pull it up. You go ahead.
But yeah, some ridiculous Calder odds, depending what books you're using. So I think your probable top three would be Michkov, Stankoven. Yeah, I feel like they're going to have to go Celebrini just because he was the number one overall pick.
Of course they're
going to be mad if a number one overall pick isn't one of your Calder finalists at the end of the year.
Artem Levshinov at plus 10,000, baby.
Yeah, like it's not happening. I'm sorry.
He will play with the Hawks like for a couple games in like March or something. Otherwise, he will be in Rockford all year.
Jimmy Snuggerud is on here at plus 10,000.
Yeah, so it's David Reinbacher is on here at plus 10,000.
Yeah, and he just got hurt.
Mm-hmm. No, you got a wild guy in here, Merritt.
Murat Kuznedinov.
I was like, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name.
Yeah, the K is silent on that one.
Got it. But yeah, I don't know. My final point here is just seeing what's Stankoven had 8 points in the playoffs in 19 games last year, but as a rookie, I'm not just going off the stats. I'm going off the eye test, and every game for Dallas that I watched, that kid was everywhere. And I was like, I just think he's going to go off this year. He's going to use that momentum. But I was close to picking Michkov. So we'll see. Kuznets?
These nuts.
Got him.
Cosgrove asking if a goalie has ever won the Calder. Yes. It's happened a couple times. The most recent one was Steve Mason, 2009 with the Blue Jackets. You have Andrew Raycroft in 2004 with the Bruins. You have Evgeny Nabokov, 2001 with the Sharks. Brodeur won it in 94. So you've got a few in there. At Belfour, 91.
Woo!
So it's not unheard of.
No. I mean, you picked Devin Levi to win it last year, if I remember correctly.
I did. And I really thought he was going to have.
Was that 2 years ago? No, it was last year.
No, that was last year.
That was last year.
I thought Levi had a shot, and then the wheels just absolutely fell off with his year.
The wheels fell off in general.
There are two goaltenders who actually are above that plus 5,000 mark. Jesper Wallstedt, Minnesota Wild, is plus 4,000, and Dustin Wolf, Calgary Flames, plus 2,400. Dustin Wolf could be a sneaky play there. He, back-to-back years, was the AHL's top goaltender. Had Stockton and then Calgary.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the Wallstedt idea.
Say that again.
I kind of like the Wallstedt idea.
I just don't think he's going to get enough meaningful play to have Vezina numbers. The
whole thing is he would if he came out that strong.
But they're also going to be very protective of him because they're going to be running. Like, I don't see how they're going to pull this off with 3 goaltenders. I just don't. Because you've got Fleury locked in. You aren't going to be able to trade Gustafsson right away. Where's Wallstedt going to play? I think there's a very realistic chance that he starts the year in Iowa and they bring him up later in the year. I just don't see how you run a 3-person goalie rotation in the NHL. It works at juniors. Even colleges don't really do it. They might carry 3 or 4, but they're only playing at most 2, barring injuries. So I don't see a realistic way it happens. I don't think he's going to get enough meaningful starts to get the stats needed to be Calder caliber. That's not to say he's not talented. That's not to say he's not good. That's not to say he's not going to be, when he's on the ice, one of the best rookies in this class. That's just to say, I don't think he's going to be in the running enough to be eligible for the award this year.
Yeah.
That got us through our awards here. So we have a couple more talking points we want to hit here. Joel, I didn't prep you for this one.
Oh, I'm ready.
I have a question for you. How many NHLers do you think will join the 1,000 point club this year? There are 4 players who realistically have a shot. Connor McDavid is 18 points away from getting his 1,000th career point.
That's going to happen.
Brad Marchand is 71 points away.
That's tougher, but I'm going to be friends with our Boston crowd here and say he does it.
Nathan McKinnon is 101 points away.
That's tough. I also say he does it.
This is going to be.
What did he have last year?
He was well past 100. I don't know the
exact
number, but he was past 100.
15 or something like that? Yeah. So I think he can do it.
And then Nikita Kucherov, 127 points away.
That's not happening this year.
That's a little much, but I mean,
can he break 100 again? Yes, but 127 again? No.
McDavid might be in the 1,000-point club before Halloween. Like he might. That's a possibility.
He might. That'd be amazing.
For sure by American Thanksgiving. Okay, Kozrov's got 51 goals, 89 assists, 140 points for McKinnon last year. So yeah, probably going to get there.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I sorry Kucherov, I don't see you putting up 127 points this year. However, 100-ish. So then all he needs is next year to put up maybe 20 points.
Let's get into the Swayman talk. Mark, I don't want to beat a dead horse here in regards to Swayman's contract. However, I do want to offer an apology because on our last show, we did that show on a Wednesday. It was the Wednesday before I left for
and
Montana.
We both
and I said I thought they might have a deal done by Monday at the latest.
I said they'd have something done by the following Friday, and both of us we were very wrong.
We're still sitting here. Swayman does not have a deal. Joel, where is the panic meter at now? I think before when we asked this on the last show, it was at about a 2. It was not very high. Where is your 1 to 10 panic meter at for the Boston Bruins and Jeremy Swayman's contract?
What did I say last time?
I think you said you were about a 2.
2 or a 3, maybe.
2 or 3, somewhere in the low range.
Especially, I mean, I get it. Twitter's Twitter, but based on official tweets and such, actual official tweets, and obviously our good friends here who pop in, whether jokes or not, I don't know, man. It's starting to. I think it might be up to like a 6 or a 7. I'm not gonna lie to you. We just call it Thanksgiving here, right?
I just had to cover it in case Isha was watching.
Boxing Day.
No, Canadian Thanksgiving and American Thanksgiving are different.
Yeah.
He's calling me out for that.
Yeah, I would say a 6 or a 7 now. I don't know, man. Something's up here, and that's not good because the whole thing was like, cool, you cashed in on having 2 all-star goaltenders, and you traded one of them.
Yeah, and now you might end up in a position where
you don't have either of them, right? Like,
yeah. Like I still don't think he's going to get offer sheeted. Like the window for that has long since passed at this point. The issue now becomes, I believe, December 1st is the hard deadline where if he does not have a deal by December 1st, he does not play this year. I cannot imagine that the Bruins would draw it out that long. I said I thought 8 by 8.5 was going to be enough to get the deal done. Reportedly, Boston, Cam Neely hinted at the fact that he offered an 8 by 8.
But then I saw that guy
Camp came out and said
8 by 7.
Yeah, 8 by 7 point something. It might have even been 8 by 7.8.
I thought it was 8 by 7 point like 2 or 3, so it basically just rounded down to 7.
Yeah, so like it's not a it's still close enough to be somewhat realistic to the 64 million total. But yeah, Mark is exactly right. Boston drama bomb with all of that.
I feel bad. I hope it goes well for you. Sorry, opening up the door. I hope it goes well, but I mean, I'm not saying this as a joke or anything. I'm just saying if it doesn't, maybe that whole, this is the year that the Bruins kind of fall off might actually happen.
Yeah, I think they get a deal done. I think Boston's a playoff team, and I'm sticking to that because I learned my lesson from 3 years of doing the show.
No, it's fair. I that's the thing. It is at a 6 or 7. I'm not saying that until I get to a 9 or a 10, I still think it's going to work out. Something will happen. But I don't know, man. I mean, you guys out there sound like it's scary, but I don't know. I'm. You know what? I don't even know. I'm not going to make a prediction because the last time we did that, so I'm sure they prefer we don't make a prediction.
Let me ask you this: you don't want to make a prediction. Do you want to play some trivia tonight?
You're damn right I do. What kind of question is that?
I got a text from Michelle that says we won bar trivia again this week.
Nice. Nice. Congrats.
We
haven't
had
done a rank the blank in a while either.
We had a perfect week last week. We did not miss a single question the entire game, so that's fantastic.
That's ridiculous.
Trivia time. Your trivia this week. I'm going to need you to name the top 11 goaltenders in career shutouts.
This is your territory.
Since 1967.
Oh my God.
Because there are some old-time hockey goaltenders who I know for a fact that you have not heard those names. I was not going to subject you to that. I was not going to subject our viewers to you trying to struggle and come up with those guys. These are names like I guarantee you have heard of these names.
In shutouts. And how many am I picking? 11 of them?
11.
In shutouts.
Yeah, I mean, you can do top 10. There was a tie at 10, and then number 11 was one back.
All right,
so it was very, very close. But additionally, there is a chance that we get some goaltenders moving up that list this year. Not enough to be into the top 10.
All right. So let's do this real quick here.
Yep.
Let's just get some of them out of the way here. Marty Brodeur.
Number 1. How many do you think he has?
No, he's number 1. Okay.
Yep.
Oh God, I don't even. 57.
Oh, way more than that.
Oh, okay. 100.
Number 11 on this list has 59.
Oh, okay. 157.
125.
Okay.
For Brodeur. So there's your range.
There's your one. All right, cool.
Yep.
King Henrik.
Henrik Lundqvist is number 8 on this list with 64.
That's actually lower than I thought he would be. All right. Jonathan Quick.
Jonathan Quick is on the list. He is right at number 10, technically tied for 9, with 60.
Ed Belfour.
Ed Belfour is tied for number 4. He is at 76.
Wow, he's a little higher than I expected. Okay. How many did you say?
So you have 4 of the 11.
No, I know. How many did Ed Belfour have?
How many did he have? 76.
Okay. All right. So 4 for 4 so far. Not that that's that hard, but it'll get hard. Let's see. That was phrasing. Sorry. All right. What else we got? The Dominator, Dominik Hasek.
There you go. You're 5 for 5 on your guesses here. Hasek is second on the list with 81.
I actually was about to guess where his rank was too, and I was going to say too.
Yeah, that he is second with 81, and Brodeur is first with 125.
The hilariously
those Devils teams were so defensively good. He almost didn't even try for some of them.
The lovely fact that the Hawks drafted him. And Ed Belfour.
You got 5. I will give you a hint. There is still one more active player on this list.
That does make that makes sense. I will get to that. Let's see. What else we got? Roberto Luongo.
Luongo is number 3.
Wow, he's higher than I expected.
77.
Okay. Oh, just barely. He just barely beat Eddie the Eagle. All right. Okay. What else we got here? No, he wouldn't be on there. No. Is this including playoffs?
This is regular season.
Okay. Oh man. One more active?
One more active.
Is he starting?
Maybe.
Okay. Something.
You're overthinking it.
I probably am.
Who's the oldest active goaltender in the NHL? You're killing me, Smalls.
I really am. Oh my God. Fleury.
Fleury. Thank you.
Fleury.
Fleury is 6th with 75.
That's
he could potentially move up, maybe even as high as number 2 by the end of this year. He needs 6 to move into a tie for second.
He could do that this year.
He could.
I think he could do that. How many did he have last year?
Good question. You come up with your next guess, and I'll look that one up.
All right, so I'm done with actives.
Yep, it's all retired. There is one really big name that you should have said.
Oh, yeah, I should have said yes, and I just thought of it. Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh, yes. Yeah. Waugh is 7th on the list with 66.
I was trying to clear off the actives and the
Fleury had 2 shutouts last year and 2 shutouts the year before that, so maybe not as much of a lock on that as we thought.
All right. Let's see here.
You're missing number 4, number 9, and number 11.
But I've gotten everything. I haven't even gotten the wrong one yet.
You have not missed yet, but it's going to get a little dicey here.
About to. This one is dicey. All right. Let me. Grant Fuhr.
Not Grant Fuhr.
Damn, there it goes. All right. Wonder where he would be. Whatever.
You'll like this one. Fleury has the same number of career shutouts with Chicago as he does with Minnesota. And he's played way more games for Minnesota.
And he played behind a garbage defense in Chicago. And he
also played behind a garbage defense in Minnesota last year, but
not as bad as ours.
not that bad.
Oh man!
So I will give you hints on these final 3.
All right.
One of them played for your Chicago Blackhawks. I believe you have met this person.
It is not Corey Crawford, is it?
No, it's not Corey Crawford.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? I've met this person. What? I said Fleury already. I didn't mean Fleury. I wish I would have met him. Nikolai Hobby Bullen? The Bullen Wall?
No. Not Hobby Bullen.
Oh, Marty Turco?
Not Marty Turco.
Okay, damn. Antti Niemi wouldn't have been one. Is Antti Niemi one of them?
It is not Antti Niemi.
I'm still thinking here. I said Dominik Hasek. He didn't actually really play for us, though. Obviously, I had Belfour. Oh, fuck. Tony Esposito.
There you go.
I did.
Tony Esposito is tied with Belfour.
I saw him and waved to him.
Okay, so you didn't get to meet him, but
I didn't shake his hand. No, I met Bobby Hull.
So you're missing number 9 and number 11. I'm going to tell you their teams here, and that's probably going to make it a lock. One played for Nashville.
Oh, Pecorine.
There you go, Pecorine. Okay. He was number 9.
Okay.
And number 11 played the majority of his career with the San Jose Sharks. And is currently their goaltending coach.
Doug Waite?
No.
No. It was like Jimmy Waite's one of our goaltending coaches, but
this player also played for the Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh God.
But mostly San Jose.
Mostly San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be like, if I don't get it, I'll kick myself? Or is it kind of like, eh?
I mean, you're going to kick yourself because I literally said his name earlier on this show.
I was just about to say, is it J.S. Jaguar?
It's not J.S. Jaguar. Because what teams did I just say?
Oh, right. Yeah. Did you say his name earlier?
I did, because he was the 2001 Calder winner.
Evgeny Nabokov?
Evgeny Nabokov.
Wow. Okay.
59 career shutouts for Nabokov.
Damn. All right. I did pretty good on that.
So some good numbers there.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty good.
All right. Well, that is it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, hung around with us for about an hour and a half here tonight. We had a bit of a longer show compared to what we would normally try and do.
We're more fun than the vice presidential debate happening right now.
Yeah, you could be watching that right now. And I certainly hope that we're more intelligent and interesting than what the debate had to say.
We also don't do unspeakable things to couches. Anywho.
Stay tuned for information on when our next show is going to be. There is no easy way to segue out of that one. Maybe I should have said there's no good way to pull out of that one.
My couch pulls out. I don't.
We're officially
going off the rails.
So stay tuned for information on our next show. Thank you, everybody who joined us, commented throughout the show. We really appreciate having all of you with us for so long. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow as well on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Look for @Snipe Celly. He's Joel Fernino. I'm Dan Bradley. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.